Have you ever looked at some people and just wondered, how are they so lucky? How does it seem that the world just unfolds in a way that is always benefiting them? What are they doing behind the scenes? Is it just a God-given gift, or is this something that they've actually developed? In this video, I want to talk to you guys about how you can actually start to build your own luck. And this is coming from someone who used to be chronically unlucky, so much so that my family actually nicknamed ourselves Unlucky Lloyds. This is the journey of how I went from being very unlucky. Bad things used to happen to me all the time, genuinely believing that when something misfortunate happened, it was just my luck. To seeing myself as one of the luckiest people, that good things happen to me all the time. And when things do happen that are unfortunate, I'm not so fast to be like, oh, that's bad luck. I'm much faster to see the lesson in what it is that I'm currently going through. A lot of this is mindset shifts, and we're going to go through all of it because unlucky and lucky is a mindset, and you are either living in an unlucky mindset and you are going to experience a world that treats you as an unlucky person, or you are a lucky person and the world will start delivering you lucky experiences. If you start to implement any of these things that I'm about to talk about, synchronicities will start happening in your life. Life will literally start flirting with you. And I honestly think the universe has a sense of humor. She loves to flirt with us, to surprise us, to send us things that completely throw us off course. So if you want to flirt with the universe, if you want to experience more luck in your life, keep on watching because we're going to go into all of it. So let's first talk about what luck actually is. Luck isn't magic. It is literally being prepared enough for then opportunity to come and meet you. The luckiest people are often the people that are doing the most things. They have fingers in a lot of different pies. They are incredibly prepared for a lot of different experiences. They are essentially being very active in their life. They aren't sitting in a comfort zone. They are putting themselves out there and experiencing a lot of different things. So when preparation meets opportunity, this is where luck starts to happen. The more prepared you can be, the more lucky you will become. Now, in order for you to have preparation plus opportunity, you need two parts. In order to be prepared, you need to have a regulated nervous system where you aren't operating from a fear basis. If you are constantly operating from fear, you aren't going to be able to prepare yourself because you're going to be holding yourself back in some capacity from going after the things that you want to do. So when I was in my unlucky Lloyd era, I wasn't able to prepare myself because my nervous system was so dysregulated. I was constantly triggered. Despite wanting more visibility, wanting impact, wanting to make more money, I didn't want to be in a full-time job working for someone else. I wanted to work for myself. But the idea of failing publicly, starting a social media presence and actually being seen, having people judge me, speaking about my own points of view, which I didn't even have at the time because I was so terrified of people not liking me. I was terrified of, if I did have them, posting them and then people telling me that I was wrong about having those points of view. Everything felt like a threat for me. So despite wanting these things, I couldn't prepare myself for them because my nervous system was so dysregulated. It was so overactive and in a state of fight or flight constantly. And that in turn made me freeze. There was no way that I could prepare myself for the opportunities that I wanted. So a really big part of luck is making sure that your nervous system feels safe to prepare you for what it is that you want to experience. And the thing that makes you not prepared are the beliefs that you have in your nervous system, the fears that are locked in your nervous system that often come from trauma, from upbringing, from programming. A lot of this is shadow work, and I can do a whole separate video on shadow work and how you actually do it. But when you have these unconscious layers inside of yourself, you aren't able just to take action on whatever you want. It's really hard to just be like, I want to make more money, so I'm going to set up a business tomorrow and not feel any fear. And as a society, we have been programmed to avoid discomfort. So when things get really hard and we feel uncomfortable and that fear rises up inside of us, we run. We're like, oh my God, this isn't normal. There's something wrong. I've got to fight. I've got to freeze. We are so conditioned to just play it safe. And in order for us to be prepared, we need to expand our capacity to hold discomfort, because whatever it is that you want to manifest, there may well come a period where it's really uncomfortable for a while for a multitude of different reasons. Part one is you becoming a different version of yourself may require you to let go of the current life that you're in. You may be required to let go of current friendships, relationships, jobs, and income sources that are no longer in alignment. You may be forced to move really abruptly. A lot of these things can feel like loss. A lot of discomfort comes with those, but in the place, make space for something new to come. But then in that space, which is where you're basically rebirthing yourself, you also need to have the confidence and the courage and the conviction to take the action that you need to go out on dates, creating a social media profile, researching other income sources, learning a new skill, leaving the job, whatever it is, there is always going to be some level of discomfort. If your nervous system is dysregulated, it's going to be very, very hard for you to prepare yourself. Now, the second part of this is then the opportunity piece. Now, this all comes down to your mindset. And a lot of this is how you are seeing the world. Are you a cup half full person or are you a cup half empty person? If you are seeing the world through a pessimistic pair of glasses, opportunities aren't going to come your way because naturally you are going to have a more negative mindset. You probably are looping thoughts like, good things never happen to me, I'm so unlucky. When something bad does happen, you say, oh, classic, that's just what always happens to me. You are validating your own belief system. Now, what that does is it actually lowers your vibration. When you have fear, which is the preparedness, which will create a low vibration anyway, paired with looping thought systems, which say, I could never be the person that this happens to. Of course, this happens to me. You are creating your reality. The universe just mirrors back what you are thinking, what your most dominant thoughts and beliefs are. And all of these things are beliefs. So in order to get more opportunities, you need to shift your mindset. You need to become the person who sees the world through a cup half full perspective, who sees the world through rose-tinted glasses. This isn't about not being realistic. This is about being optimistic and seeing the opportunities before they even come to you. Now, when I was in my unlucky Lloyd era, yet again, I was so negative. When something bad happened to me, I would immediately say, classic, unlucky Lloyd. I would validate, well, of course, because this is me. The universe was just giving me more of what I was saying that I was. It was a mirror. I was fully just creating the experience every single day of what I already thought about myself, or what my entire family thought about us. So I'd go out, I'd get my phone stolen. I think I broke or lost my phone about 20 times in 1 year when I was living in London. That is an extortionate amount of time. And it is not only incredibly costly, but it is so frustrating. And every time it happened, I'd be like, classic, of course that's happened. I'd go on the tube, someone would fall over and spill their drink on no one else but me. Someone would trip over me, end up falling on my lap, or I would be standing up and I'd end up falling on someone else's lap. I would end up falling over, scuffing my knees, creating these incredible injuries that I had no idea how they were happening at the time because they were just so outrageous. Some of the things that happened to me were so outrageous. And this was like a running joke with my friends. It's like, if it's gonna happen to anyone, it's gonna happen to you, Hayley. And that is because I lived in the mindset that it was going to happen to me. So my vibration was very low. When your vibration is low, like attract like, I was attracting in other low vibrational situations. I was unlucky because I was creating the luck in my own mind. So these are the two aspects that we have to work with. We have to regulate our nervous system. We have to remove fear and expand our capacity to prepare ourselves, and then shift our mindset so we can view the world from a more optimistic place. This means that you are then sending out thoughts like, I'm so lucky, good things happen to me all of the time. And when you radiate that out, a different reality starts to come in. I'm going to give you some suggestions of what to do with your mindset first, because this is actually the easiest part because it's conscious. Your nervous system is where you actually need to do some deeper reprogramming, and I've got a suggestion for you there as well. But let's start with the mindset. So how are we going to shift our mindset from a pessimistic, I'm so unlucky, good things never happen to me, to, oh, good things always happen to me? One just easy one is affirmations. But I will say that affirmations by themselves, if you don't believe the affirmations, are really hard. This is where something where bridge affirmations comes in. So a bridge affirmation is essentially where you aren't like stretching for the affirmation that you want, which may be, I'm so lucky. If you currently say that and you're like, I just don't believe it, your brain is never gonna get on board with a belief that you are outwardly rejecting. So we need a bridge. That's something that you can get behind. So it could be a statement like, I'm becoming more lucky every single day. It's an in-between step. So you're not quite there yet. Maybe you aren't saying, I'm a multimillionaire, but you say, I'm starting to become aware of opportunities for me to make more money. That's a bridge affirmation. And those can be really powerful. So when I was starting to shift my mindset, instead of saying, I'm so smart, because one of my biggest insecurities was that I was really stupid, I was saying, I'm building my intelligence every single day. every day my memory gets slightly better because my memory used to be absolutely awful. And those bridge affirmations allowed me actually to believe that affirmation so that then I could create another bridge and ultimately get to the ultimate affirmation I wanted to get to, which was I'm so smart, which I do now believe. And the same thing goes with I'm so lucky. But I want you just to add in for the next 10 days, I'm so lucky, good things happen to me all the time. People like me always get what they want. And just see what happens. If you're like, no, I just outwardly don't believe these, create a bridge affirmation. You almost want to have it just playing as a loop in your mind because this creates a portion of your consciousness and your consciousness is projecting out into the world. That's what plasma is engaging with. So we need to really be thinking about the thoughts that we're saying. And the more conscious you can become and consciously planting thoughts and beliefs and affirmations like that, the more reality is going to mirror that back to you. So experiment with that first and create bridge affirmations if you need to. The second thing is we're going to find more gratitude for what we currently have. Now, I don't know what everyone's situations is, and I don't want you to go into a comparison exercise of, but I really want this, I'll finally be happy when I'm over here, which instantly puts you in lack. In order to manifest, in order to be a lucky person, you need to be really grateful for what you have. The luckiest that I have been is when I am in the most gratitude for the life that I currently have. Not only does this help you see the world from a more positive perspective, because you realize how incredible the world already is and how beautiful it is and how lucky we are to be here on this planet and how incredible it is to have a working body with ears that can hear and eyes that can see and limbs that can move, to have oxygen and carbon that we can breathe, to literally be able to walk around in this like meat suit and make these relationships and learn all of these incredible lessons, to be able to create on camera and follow our dreams and pursue our passions and do things like surfing and skating, you name it. Like we get to do all of these incredible things. So it will already help you with your mindset. But on a vibration perspective, gratitude is an incredibly high vibration in terms of energy. So immediately when you start to experience more gratitude, you are going to start attracting in more like-minded experiences. So I want you to start your mornings with making a gratitude list. Now you can either say this out loud, which I highly recommend because it does sometimes get you into your heart space more, or you can just write it down and just like recite all of the things that you are grateful for. And these things don't have to be huge. They can be really small things like, I'm so grateful that I'm pain-free. I'm so grateful that the sun is shining on my skin this morning. I'm so grateful for the rain that's coming down and hydrating this planet. It can be whatever you want it to be, but try to get more gratitude in because it's really going to make a big difference for actually both parts of these, the preparedness, but also the opportunity part of it, because you are literally raising your vibration. Third thing is I want you guys to smile more. It is scientifically proven that when we smile, we release feel-good hormones into the body. So when we are walking around with a really glum face and then we start saying, oh, everyone's so miserable all the time, it is literally because we are, again, reflecting back what we are putting out. When you start smiling, other people will start smiling back to you. When you smile more, you become more approachable. People that are more approachable typically have more opportunities. You could literally bump into someone on the street, have a conversation because you're more approachable, and there could be an opportunity. That would be a very lucky, serendipitous exchange of events, but literally just happened because you left the house smiling and you were open to have conversations with other people. You were approachable. And following on from this, I want you to really think about what it is that you do when you're happy. Like, how do you interact? How do you move through the world? What do you say to yourself? When some of the best things in your life has happened, what do you do? Are you like, let's go, let's do more of this? Are you excited? Are you passionate? Are you cozy? Do you have conversations with your friends? Do you jump up and down? Do you have a big smile on your face? Do you put the music on? Do you start dancing? What makes you happy? What makes you feel alive? Do more of those things. Again, it's going to change your vibration. And when you changes your vibration, more opportunities come to you. But also doing these things just from a hormonal perspective, it releases feel-good hormones. So you really can't lose. That then leads me on to my next thing, which is follow your passion. Now, for a lot of people, you may be wondering what your passion actually is. When I was in my unlucky Lloyd era, I didn't know what lit me up. I really struggled with passion because I was trying to people please for everyone else around me. So I wasn't actually living my life for me. I was living my life for other people, which meant that actually tuning into what passion was really, really difficult. But I will say the more that I tried to search for it and actually tried new things instead of just doing the same things I'd always always did, that's when I really figured out what I actually loved to do. So I started skating, I started surfing, I tried loads of different types of sports, F45, different types of workouts. It's how I also discovered that I love content creation, even though I was terrified of actually putting my face online and I couldn't speak off the cuff. I had severe social anxiety that rendered me completely mute without an alcoholic beverage for literally years of my life. And I'm now sober. I've been sober for 6 years. I don't have to medicate myself in order to have a voice anymore. Finding your passion comes from doing new things. So if you don't know what your passion is, try new things. Put yourself in a situation to try a different skill. Not only is that going to increase your opportunities because you're around other people, it's also going to allow you to experience life in a different way. And if you do know what makes you passionate, if you do know what lights you up, if you know what gets you in a flow state, if you know what supercharges your body and leaves a huge smile on your face after you've done it, do more of that. Whether it's doing art, whether it's going to the cinema, whether it's creating content, whether it's writing a book, a short story, do more of the things that light you up, because the more you can follow your passion, the more it's going to raise your vibration because you are in a flow state more. You're actually regulating your nervous system just through doing that. Time behaves completely differently when we're in a flow state. You want to find more areas that you can do that because it's going to make you happier. If you are following more of the things that light you up, and when you're happier, your glass is going to be more full. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is probably the most important, and this is what happens when things inevitably go wrong in your life. Even though I see myself as incredibly lucky, bad things still happen to me. I am a human. We go through these ups and downs in life. It's inevitable that we are always going to be faced with something that comes up and challenges us in some way, but it is a challenge. It is not bad luck. When something happens, someone goes into the back of you when you're driving your car. Does that have to be bad luck, or is it that you are required to have that experience so that you can learn something, so that you can grow your soul? In Kabbalah, they believe that the more discomfort we experience, the more we are expanding our vessel, the more light we can receive when we have gone through these periods of darkness. Before I even knew about Kabbalah, this is exactly what I was teaching, that I was channeling through, was that we sometimes need to go through these periods of tension, of constriction, where it feels like you're being squeezed, where nothing is making sense, where you're experiencing pain, you're having to let things go, you're purging things out of your body through sickness, through grieving friendships, grieving relationships, letting go of jobs and having to deal with the instability of it. The more we can experience that, the more we are opening ourselves up for more light to come through. This is where there has to be a certainty and trust that for every single dip or low, there is something good that's going to come on the back of it. There is a reason for that pain that is ultimately positive, that everything is happening for you, not to you. Essentially, this is about getting out of victim consciousness. And so instead of being like, oh, everything always happens to me, and feeling like you were a slave to your life, that it is just happening to you, and you were just like a participant that is just receiving this barrage of things that is happening, because that's ultimately what bad luck is, right? People that are unlucky are in victim. That is ultimately what is happening. And so when you switch to empowered responsibility and you say everything is happening for you, that means that even the situations that are painful, confusing, that don't feel good, that are unlucky in some people's eyes, for you are a challenge that helps you grow. That is empowered responsibility. That is a growth mindset. Those people that believe that are lucky. They believe that they are inherently lucky because they see everything that is happening to them as a gift from above that is going to help them to grow and expand so they can ultimately hold more light in the future. That is the ultimate hack of being incredibly lucky, because then nothing that happens to you is ever happening to you. It's never a punishment. It's never bad luck. It's always an opportunity. And that is how you create your own opportunities, is by seeing everything as an opportunity for you to grow. Now, when you see life as constantly giving you opportunities, even through the challenges, you suddenly become a magnet for opportunities. You become a magnet for luck. Your entire reality starts to shift. So that is how you're going to start changing your mindset. I hope that you made some notes, because any of those things that I just spoke about will change your vibration and make you more inherently lucky immediately. But I want you guys to start saying from tomorrow, I'm so lucky, good things always happen to me, and apply some of these things that we spoke about. Now, the second aspect of this is the preparedness that I was speaking about, which requires us to regulate our nervous system and take the actions that we need to in order to be prepared. Because again, luck is being prepared, paired with opportunity. So if you are not prepared for something, then if an opportunity comes to you, you're not going to feel ready, or the opportunity is going to pass you by. Let's say that you want to be the host of an incredible podcast and you want to have an audience of hundreds of thousands of people, but you haven't once posted anything online. Are you prepared yet? If the manifestation that you wanted, if the thing that you wanted to manifest appeared to you tomorrow, would you be ready for it? Are you ready for it? If you aren't ready for it, you're not prepared enough. Sometimes the preparing requires us to take action. If you constantly want to get upgrades when you go onto a flight, right? Really lucky people often get these upgrades. Often though, it's because these lucky people have prepared themselves enough that that becomes inevitable. So maybe they've created businesses where they're so close to being upgraded because of the points that it always goes to them because they are taking the action to put themselves in that situation over and over and over again. Maybe it's that whenever they go onto the aircraft, they're giving all of the stewardesses chocolates and stuff. They're combining opportunity with being prepared for it to happen. Often the luckiest people have hacked a lot of these systems so that they get upgrades. It's often not just people sat there and just waiting for it to happen. There is an element of us having to move towards it in some way for us to be prepared for it to come to us. But the second part then is removing fear beliefs and limiting beliefs from your bodies that say that it's scary or not safe for you to take these actions, because a lot of people are then faced with procrastination, with overwhelm, with this debilitating fear that doesn't let them move forward. If you are constantly experiencing that, you're not going to be taking the action in order to move forward. So you have to regulate your nervous system. You have to expand your nervous system's capacity to hold more. One of the best ways that you can do this is through breath work. Now, there are two reasons for this. Reason number one, if you were doing this every single day, breath work will allow you to expand your capacity just generally over time. It works with your nervous system's window of tolerance. It's making you resilient, and it does this by helping you to basically balance the gases in your body. When you intentionally hyperventilate and then you pair it with breath holds, you are increasing your CO2 tolerance. When you increase your CO2 tolerance, you naturally become more resilient to hold stress. There was a brilliant episode with Wim Hof on the Know Thyself podcast, and he goes into all of these studies that he's been doing in the background over the last couple of decades, where he has proven how effective the breath is for stress reduction. It is over 300% more effective than mindfulness and meditation in reducing stress. Now, when you are trying to take action, when you are trying to prepare yourself to be a lucky person, you need to be able to tolerate stress, to be able to tolerate discomfort. And the larger capacity or window of tolerance that your nervous system has, the more you're going to be able to take that action and not be rattled by it, and not go into shutdown on freeze response, and not go into procrastination or avoidance or a frantic energy of, oh my God, something's going to go wrong, and freak out and then take your foot off the gas and opt out. That won't happen the more regulated your nervous system is, the more CO2 tolerance you have. And breathwork is the only modality that actually allows you to do that. So daily breathwork is really, really good for allowing you to become more prepared to take different action. But it will also just impact you in so many other ways. Health-wise, it's literally going to turn on your immune system. It's going to make you less susceptible to common colds. You're going to have way more energy, way more focus, way more clarity. The benefits I could literally go on and do another 2-hour episode on, so I will stop there. But the other reason that you want to do breathwork, specifically long holotropic breathworks, is that you can intentionally remove fear from the body. So whenever you are blocked by fear, it is your nervous system contracting, because at some stage in your life, you learned it wasn't safe for you to do a certain thing. That is essentially a stuck fight or flight response. It's a ball of energy that is locked in your fascia in your nervous system that hasn't had a chance to complete itself. So in order to complete itself, we actually need to take the neocortex, our thinking mind, offline. We need to go into the mammalian brain, which is the same brain that animals and dogs have. So when you see them shaking off, they are literally shaking off stress. We have the same capability within us, but our thinking brain means that we can't actually just shake off in the street. We're not shaking off stress. So we need to actually turn off the thinking mind, get into our mammalian brain so that we can shake off the stress response. When we shake it off around areas that we are currently scared of, we complete the fight or flight responses. And then the things that we were scared about no longer scare us anymore. It is literally a medicine cabinet within our bodies, and it is all down to the breath. That is why in the In-All membership, it is a breath-led manifestation membership. We have entire breath flows, which are literally just to help you become more lucky. So if you want to just start your day with a daily breath work, which then reprograms your mind at the back end when you're in a suggestible state to be more lucky and have a lucky day, you want to get into the In-All membership because it's going to help you to do that. But also we have a load of long reprogramming breath flows, which are literally designed to remove fear from your body so that you can take more action. Because this is ultimately the thing about being prepared. It's like you can tell yourself that you're ready over and over and over again, but if your nervous system is in complete conflicting energy with that, you're still going to really struggle to show up and take that action. You need to work somatically with your nervous system to actually shift the fear that you have inside of you, and that's going to allow you to prepare yourself. These two elements, having a nervous system that allows you to be prepared, paired with an opportunistic mindset, you become lucky. That is what it is. That is all it is. You can start telling yourself now, but if you start applying these things in the next 3 days, your life will start to change. So I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you for the next 7 days to do an I'm So Lucky week. Over the next week, you are going to apply these things. If you need to, rewatch this episode, write down all of the things that I have spoken about, and I want you to make an intention every single day to do these things. Now, if you want a daily breath work to do, you can come into the In-All app and you can literally experience the I'm So Lucky breath work in there that is going to allow you to become more prepared for taking the action that you need to take. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please make sure that you give this a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below. It means the absolute world to me. Thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. If you have any suggestions for topics that you would like for me to talk on and do episodes about, drop them in the comments below. Send me a message on Instagram. I'm always around. I'm so grateful for you guys, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye guys.